Hello and welcome to Lydia Hawk Designs. Today I am comparing one unassembled T13 robot I purchased from Etsy versus 6 assembled T13 robots I purchased from eBay. They are fun to play with, but definitely different even though all the parts are the same. I'm using them for my St. Patrick's Day diorama because they are so easy to pose and they're very close to the 1:12 scale height I need for my dioramas. I should start by saying both sellers have great reviews on their respective shops. I only purchase from sellers with great reviews, great feedback that looks genuine and not generic. I'm not always sure about reputable sources for products, but if you would like a link to the sellers I bought from, message me and I will share them with you. It is important to note that both sent my order with the part missing. My 6 fully assembled T13 robots cost $34 and arrived within 3 days of purchase. The only issue I can find so far is that one of the robots is missing an open hand. I unpacked everything carefully and no hand for one of the colored hands of my robots. There are 6 figures, so a missing hand is not that big a deal to me. My one unassembled T13 robot cost $25 and arrived 14 days after purchase. Not as great shipping wise, but it got here. Putting it together is only challenging because I don't have great hand strength and the paper instructions could be cleaner. It could be that the instructions have been scanned and recopied a few times. Regardless, it helped to take a painter's palette and place the parts in groups according to shape and color. And there is a QR code for YouTube instructions. It does not cover how the stand works, but I'll go over that in a moment. I just followed the paper instructions, so for the few pieces that are similar in shape but different sizes, I scanned the instructions for them to make sure I wasn't fitting pieces the wrong way. They were challenging to put together, so I didn't want to risk having to wrestle them apart. In fact, if you were at all worried about which parts go together based upon the instructions, you could use the pictures to group everything first, then assemble. As far as getting the pieces to snap together, I used my work table when I couldn't get them to snap easily using my hands. My robot was missing a hip, but since it doesn't hinder posability and function, I'm not too worried about it. The assembled T13s came with lots of different weapon accessories. I bought this container at Dollar Tree for storing the parts that would fit. A few don't fit, but I won't be posing my robots with weapons, so it's not important that all of the pieces be in one location. The unassembled robot only came with a stand. I attached the robot to the stand, and then by opening and closing the lever, you can adjust the height of the stand. For the cost, shipping, and accessories, I do prefer the eBay purchase. But for the solid construction, I have to go with the Etsy purchase. Besides the difference in cost and shipping, and even though I don't know a lot about plastic toy creation and 3D printing, the pack of 6 T13s have a smoother surface. PVC is the listed material. What I found indicates they are commercially manufactured toys. The Etsy T13 has a rougher surface texture and is listed as PETG plastic and PLA plastic, which is a 3D filament print. The joints of the assembled T13s are much looser. In fact, they are a bit fiddly to pose, but they pose nonetheless, and they hold their poses. It just requires extra patience to pose them, especially the feet. Lavender holds a pose very well. Here I have purchased a swatch of fabric and I'm fashioning a cape to my robot. My bar diorama started to feel very Lord of the Rings with its dark interior, so I wanted a robe for one of them. I took silk cord and tied it around the head and then very crudely cut the excess fabric. Next, I cut one of the weapons down to what looks more like a wand. It's not a polished way to do this, but the effect is what I was going for. Here, I'm trying a few things to see what works. My wizard is in the corner casting feel-good spells. Here, my lavender T13 is being beamed up by aliens. Here we've got purple and orange performing for blue, who is very much enjoying the show. Since it's one electric guitar and one singer, they are probably performing Hosier's song Unknown. Lavender is enjoying a beer while chatting with Green, who is bartending. Red has had one too many. Gray is reading a book about Irish heritage by the fire. My warrior turned artist robots are enjoying retirement. Stay tuned for tutorials on the accessories for this Irish Pub Diorama. I'm making a video on how I achieved the fireplace, Persian rug, bar back and bottles, the bar, the stage, and where I got some of these items. Slàinte and happy St. Patrick's Day!